Yeah, time now is 6:48, and it is Monday, which means we are with the mayor.
Yeah, Mayor Gina Ortiz joins us this morning. This afternoon, 1:30, you're announcing this Economic Security Advisory Group. What is that?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I will never forget one of the earliest conversations I had with Governor Abbott, and he said, you know, San Antonio really needs to up its game when it comes to economic development. And so since that conversation, I've played close attention to the way in which we do that, and certainly with some outside partners. I think what I've also seen, not only just bringing in my background, right, in national security and having seen at the highest levels kind of where our country is going, both national security-wise, but also economic security. I think our community, Military City USA, Cyber City USA, we are uniquely positioned to really take advantage of this moment, but I think we've got to be focused. So this Economic Security Advisory Group, which will advise the mayor on opportunities for us to be, frankly, more competitive in 4 areas in particular: AI, artificial intelligence, quantum technology, right, biotechnology, and space manufacturing. These are the areas I think that we've got the talent here. I think we need a little bit more focus. So this group of 11, many of them retired generals, many of them are currently obviously working in the fields as well. And so they bring a unique expertise to really ensure that the city is as focused as we can possibly be to support the companies that we've got here, but also to make sure that we are as competitive in attracting others. This is something, again, where we just, frankly, time is moving very quickly. When you look at the importance of these technologies, not only from a national security standpoint, but from an economic standpoint, we've got the talent. So I think we've got to compete, and it takes a strategy to do that.
Do we have some particular facilities we're looking at bringing in?
Well, I think, one of the key partners will be the port. And so it's, when you talk about facilities bringing it in, this is more of a group that is going to help us. I mean, it's not focused on one location per se. I think what it is really focused on making sure that we are looking at the right opportunities. The thing is, the federal government has really put an emphasis on this, to their credit, right? And so how do we ensure that we're tapping into that as much as possible? How do we also working certainly at the state, but really supporting the ecosystem that exists to an extent here is somewhat piecemeal, and frankly really needs a concerted strategic look so that we're moving forward.
And recently you had the Taiwan Smart City Summit, and you're about to head over to Taiwan. Tell us a little bit about that trip and what you hope to get out of it.
Yeah, well, so look, you can't talk about advanced manufacturing in this country, frankly, in this moment in time, without talking about Taiwan. So I have made it a focus of mine to make sure we really lean into that relationship. This is why I hosted the Taiwanese delegation last summer, and that has continued to pay dividends. And so I will travel with a delegation. I'll lead a delegation starting this Saturday. We'll go to Taiwan. And so we'll meet with several kind of government high-level folks that are also working in the economic development space, as well as some of the companies that, again, we'd like to further collaborate with. What I have found in speaking with companies is they know Austin, they know Houston, they know Dallas, but they don't know San Antonio as well. They don't know that Austin is 15% higher to do cost of business, San Antonio is 10% lower. So just within 70 miles, you have a 25% delta in cost of doing business on top of what I would argue is a great quality of life that you have here. So I've made this a focus of mine to make sure that we are really leaning forward on economic development, and this Taiwan trip is part of that. Right after that, I'll come back for like a day, and then we'll do, it's called San Antonio to DC, SA to DC trip. And so we'll bring folks from across the community and just make sure our folks at the federal level and some of those federal partners understand what continue to be our priorities. Of course, we continue to be very concerned with these federal cuts, what the impacts of the One Big Beautiful Bill, cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, CHIP, and SNAP. Of course, as we were just discussing, you know, what is going to continue happening with these federal immigration activities. To this day, my office and no one at city staff has been contacted by ICE regarding that facility on the east side to this day. So we continue, again, trying to identify ways in which we can help ourselves to meet the public's rightful questions about what is going on there. Unfortunately, we're just not getting a lot of answers back, but we'll continue asking those questions. Of course, you've also heard me say top of mind is the continued relationship, the continued strength of the USMCA agreement. So this is the three-country together, Canada, U.S., and Mexico, we need to keep those barriers down, right? Those barriers to trade down so we can continue to have low-cost goods and employ as many of our people as possible. So we'll talk about public health, economic health as well. We'll talk about, of course, what's happening in the DHA space, and then, of course, what's happening in the trade space.
10 seconds. She honored Patti LaBelle.
Yeah! Oh my gosh.
Literally 10 seconds. Give me.
Look, Patti LaBelle is a legend, godmother of soul, and so I'm so thankful for the great team led by Emily out at the Majestic, and that we had such great talent in the community. It was a treat last night. I don't think much of the crowd sat down during that concert, but I was really honored to provide her with a certificate, Emissary of the Muses, to recognize her long contributions to music and American history. So very thankful that Patti LaBelle was in town last night.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Mira, for always being here, and we'll check in with you next week.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.